Here's a quick news update from the Sustainability Channel. I'm Thomas Stanley, and let's start by having a look at the Ecobusiness news site and an analysis. The world will add enough renewables in 5 years to power US and Canada. Carbon brief analysis of figures in the IEA's Renewables 2023 report show that the world is now on track to build enough solar, wind, and other renewables over the next 5 years to power the equivalent of the US and Canada. Rapid growth has also pushed the IEA to once again significantly upgrade its renewables forecast, adding an extra 728 gigawatts of capacity to a 5-year estimate it made just a year ago. This is more than the electricity capacity of Germany and India combined. The agency attributes this growth to plummeting costs of solar power and favorable policy regimes, particularly in China. Despite such accelerated expansion, the world is not currently on track to achieve the COP28 target of tripling renewables capacity by 2030. By Carbon Brief's calculations, this 2024 to 2028 period is though on track to see an extra 4,963 terawatt hours of electricity generation from renewable sources. This amounts to 1/6 of the world's electricity output in 2022. So this is both fascinating and interesting news. An article in The Guardian, a move to sustainable food systems could bring $10 trillion benefits a year, a study finds. And it found that existing food systems destroyed more value than they created due to hidden environmental and medical costs, in effect, borrowing from the future to take profits today. Food systems drive a third of global greenhouse gas emissions, putting the world on course for 2.7 degrees of warming by the end of the century. This creates a vicious cycle as higher temperatures bring more extreme weather and greater damage to harvests. Food insecurity also puts a burden on medical systems. The study predicted a business-as-usual approach would leave 640 million people underweight by 2050, while obesity would increase by 70%. Redirecting the food system would be politically challenging, but bring huge economic and welfare benefits, said the international team of authors behind the study. Johan Rockström of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research and one of the study's authors said, "The global food system holds the future of humanity on Earth in its hand." The report was produced by the Food System Economics Commission, which has been formed by the Potsdam Institute, the Food and Land Use Coalition, and EAT, a holistic food system coalition of the Stockholm Resilience Center, the Wellcome Trust, and the Strawberry Foundation. It estimated the hidden costs of food, including climate change, human health, nutrition, and natural resources at $15 trillion and created a new model to project how these hidden costs could develop over time, depending on humanity's ability to change. To read this article in full and also have a look at the report and the study. And we are ending on an optimistic note from Vox. Surprise, there's a reason to be cautiously optimistic about the climate. It's no secret that the environmental health of the planet is in dire straits right now. The Earth was its hottest in recorded history in 2023. Our winters are shorter, our summers hotter, and our natural disasters more extreme. The doom and gloom around climate change is understandable when you take it all into account. Global governments struggled to stay under the goal of 1.5 Celsius temperature increase last year, meaning we could be barreling towards even worse outcomes. There's a sense of existential dread. But one expert says it doesn't have to be that way. Hannah Ritchie, that we have been talking about in an earlier episode, deputy editor of Our World in Data, argues that climate doomerism leads people astray from meaningful action. In a debut book, Not the End of the World, How We Can Be the First Generation to Build a Sustainable Planet, she says that we should reframe the way we talk about climate change. And a quote here, I think some people do actually just respond to the fear or the catastrophic messages, but I think there's also a big group of people that don't like that. I'm trying to bridge that ground a little bit and get people that might be on the fence or a bit disengaged to engage a bit more. So let's listen into a short extract from the Weeds podcast and hear what Hannah Ritchie says.
I mean, I'm definitely not saying that things are going to be okay. Like it depends on what we do. There will just be impacts regardless of what we do. Like climate change. I mean, I was going to say climate change is coming, but climate change is here, and with every increase in temperature, we increase impacts and we increase risks. So it's not that we're going to have no impacts and things are all going to be fine, but the gradient of how fine or okay things will depend on our actions. And I think we have this opportunity here to really take strong action. I think the balance there is really important. I think you do need like not necessarily panic, because I don't know if that's an effective response, but you do need concern and you need a sense of urgency. Like these are big problems that we need to solve.
So that's all for today. Over and out, and live a sustainable life.